Okay, well, welcome back. It's Nicola Cairncross here. And so in a couple of videos just recently, we talked about the things you must have in place to be able to build a successful service business. And in day one, we talked about knowing your customer or client inside out. It helps if you are them, if you started to scratch an itch that you had or fill a need that you had. But if you haven't been in your customer's place, then it really helps to get to know them really well. And hopefully you've got some great customers. You can talk to them, you can get to know them, you can picture them when you're writing every bit of sales message, when you're making a video for them. And in order to do that, you need to know what their challenges are. You need to know issues are, what their problems are, what their fears are, and know them inside out. You know them through serving them. Now, the other thing is you can't call people out, as we covered, so you have to be very sensitive when you're talking in the language you use in all your sort of sales messages and all your social media content. But you can use empathetic language, you can use a language that shows you identify with them, and you can speak directly to their pain without actually calling it out in public. And the way you do that is by going directly to the heart of their problems and addressing those problems in the content you create. So give people solutions and they'll self-identify as the people who need those solutions. In the third video, I talked about piling up the solutions, packaging it up, how to stop people comparing your hourly rate with theirs, how to add value without it being you working extra, creating digital content, creating digital products out of the expertise you have, and really walking through the customer journey so that you're walking in their shoes. You're thinking, what would I need next? What does my ideal client or customer need after the thing they've just downloaded or purchased? So you're really creating a good customer journey. You're making it easy for people. You're making it easy for people to opt into your mailing list. You're making it enjoyable when they've done that. You're making it easy for them to buy your first product or service. And then you're thinking, what would they need after that? And what can I supply? Because one thing's for sure, if you don't make them another offer, they'll be going somewhere else to get their needs met. So how can you do that better than anyone else? And the other thing we talked about was try not to discount unless it's time limited, and it's much better to add value and make until things get irresistible, and rather than discounting. Unless, like I say, it's time limited and you're trying to push people over into making a decision for a particular event. How do you know when you've made it irresistible to buy? Because people start buying. Easy. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about today particularly was I just wanted to talk about how can you reassure people? How can you make it easy to buy from you, knowing that you are authentic, that you're reliable, that you do what you say you could do on the tin, and what would happen if they're not satisfied? So the way to do that is through case studies, it's through testimonials, it's through telling stories. I mean, I've got so many clients now that I can tell stories about. I mean, if you showed me someone who works in any particular industry and said, what do you think their problems are? I would probably know, because I know I would have had a client in that industry or a similar industry. You know, I've had super yacht skippers, I've had event organisers, I've had people who grow wheatgrass in hydroponic farms. Did I mention there was a cement expert in there? Hairdressers. I've been a hotel owner myself. I've worked in recruitment. I've worked in antique centres. So, you know, there aren't that many businesses actually when you narrow it all down. Just listing that lot has made me realise that people are either in the entertainment business, they're in the education business, they're in the service business. And it really is, once you've got a handle on the kind of issues that those sectors have, you can usually help someone that's in perhaps a different business but a similar sector. But the key to reassuring people is definitely telling stories, testimonials. If you can get your clients to give you a video testimonial, that's very powerful, because people can actually see the authenticity and the excitement and enthusiasm for working with you. I'm really lucky. The kind of people I tend to attract don't mind giving video testimonials at all. And of course, because I then link to those testimonials and I link to their websites, then people are very keen to help out. And of course, you can be your own story. You can be your own testimonial. If you've done something that's a bit different and it's worked for you and you tell your story, that will help enormously. That's what I did in the early days. The other thing is, don't position yourself as the expert. Position yourself as someone on a journey. Again, in the early days of the Money Gym, that's what I did. I didn't say I was a wealth expert. I said I was learning how money works, and would you like to come on the journey with me? And that's how I built my mailing list and the traffic to my website initially, by sharing my journey every single week. I mean, the first time I sent out my newsletter, it went to about 8 people. And it just grew and grew from there because I made it easy at the bottom of the newsletter to share how people can forward it on and then how that new person can subscribe. Because people are scared, they don't want to commit themselves. But if you can get themselves to just take micro commitments, then you'll be fine. They'll join up the minimum thing they can and they'll test you out and they'll hear your stories and they'll hear your testimonials and they'll sample some of your ebook and perhaps your digital products, and they'll get to know you slowly. We did a survey once in the Money Gym, which was my first ever successful business, and we worked out from the day people opted into our mailing list when they became clients and what the value of them becoming a client was to us. And it was absolutely fascinating. The average length of time it took someone to become a client at the Money Gym was 18 months. Some people came across us straight away, loved us and signed up. Some people took 5 years. One woman took 8 years, which is incredible when you think about it, isn't it? And I still get clients signing up for things now saying, I've been following you for years. I've been listening to your podcasts. I've been watching you on YouTube. I feel like I know you. I've seen your children grow up and I feel like I know you. It's amazing, isn't it? So finally, what else can you do if you're not your ideal client, you don't have any ideal clients to draw on? I would start out by offering a free or very low cost version of your course or your product or service. Get people in, tell them they're beta testing, tell them you want feedback, tell them you want them to be brutally honest about how they feel every step of the journey, and then at the end they'll become your testimonials. 5-day challenges are really good for this, and the person to go and learn how to do 5-day challenges from is Big Phil Harrison. Just search for him on LinkedIn, you'll find him. I talk about him on the video just below where I say it's the people I follow on YouTube and you might like too. That's a very popular one of my videos, so go and check it out, and it talks about Big Phil Harrison in there. 5-day challenges are fantastic for getting the first group of people into your product or service. Then they can become your first testimonials. Okay, that's it for today. Go and have a lovely evening and I'll see you tomorrow.